What's the haps? I'm John, aka Meroka, and welcome to Spiel. We are in Carl's Serpent Tier 3 today, which is going to be predominantly undead. There will be ghosts and ghoulies and whatnot around, and hearts off the bat, so I don't need those. But yeah, we're going to go fight some ghosts and junk. And try and stay away from the giant evil undead spooky cats. The ones that will eat my face. So let us kick things off, as we usually do, with some Spiral Knights news. Yeah! So the Battle Chef promo is now over. That has finished. That is completed. If you wanted some Battle Chef regalia or paraphernalia or whatnot, those aren't going to be around from well, within the game. Do I have a gun? I didn't bring a gun. I'm going to have to throw orbs around. So yeah, if you wanted to buy them from 3 Rings, well, you had 2 weeks. I hope you took your opportunity to do so, but because that is not going to be a thing anymore. Uh-oh. That thing wants to eat me. Doesn't look happy to see me. Can we get some light on this situation? There we go. So yeah, you're going to have to buy them from other players now. You're going to have to go to the auction house, or the forums, or the trade chat, or what have you, and try and acquire your boxes that way. They will likely not be especially cheap, because they're now at somewhat of a premium. But yeah, you had 2 weeks. If you wanted them, you should have made you move a little bit sooner, I guess. And, well, that means, well, given the current track record, might well be another promo to follow at some point in the near future. We haven't had much downtime between promos for the last, well, vast majority of the last year, I suppose. So, it is Wednesday, it is update day. Obviously, I'm recording this before the evening when such updates would go live, so I'm not a fortune teller, a farseer, I don't know, pick a word for somebody who sees the future, whatever. I cannot read fortunes. I cannot. If you cross my palm with silver, I will have some silver. That's all that will mean. So yeah, ooh, Mr. Shiny. There we go. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens tonight. I would probably fully expect to see a promo, which would be unusual given the standard course of events to not see a promo at this stage. It's kind of the way the world works right now. Maybe it will be an exciting and shiny one. Maybe a Pokémon will return. Maybe the Black Cats will return. Maybe the Tortodrones will return. Probably not. They were here fairly recently. What seems more likely is we're going to get some reskins and things. And hopefully, but maybe not, hopefully they won't be doing any more selling items for power and whatnot. But that depends on how many of y'all bought the Mixmaster. And I suspect it's probably quite a few. Which is going to be concerning, honestly. But I rambled for 15 minutes in an entirely separate video about that, so if you want to know my thoughts on the Mixmaster, go see that. They're not positive, I'll be honest. But we shall see how things go. We'll see what 3 Rings attitude is in the next few hours, I suppose. Or indeed, well, by the time you watched it, it'll be a few hours ago. The news will be with you. Ah, nuts! I'm stuck. God damn it! Freeze cats. Who invited the freeze cats along? Also worthy of note this week, not particularly on Spiral Knights news, but channel news. Go check out if you have not already, and I know a vast majority of you won't have. The Wildstar Waffle, which went up on Monday, which is basically this. If you like Spiral Spiel, go watch Wildstar Waffle. It is a pilot episode of me doing this in Wildstar, which I've been threatening to do for a while. I'm not totally convinced it worked especially well. There's too much going on in that game for me to be effectively commentate on, you know, random junk. But this is fairly straightforward. It's just hack and slash a bunch of stuff. Whereas Wildstar, I'm doing questing, and then there's challenges, and then there's people popping up with communications all the time, just for like no reason whilst you're wandering around. And it's a very busy game. There's all sorts of stuff. You got side missions, and there's big elite baddies to avoid and fight if you so desire, and there's all sorts goes down. And I kind of got sidetracked a lot. Part of that may have been because it was introducing you guys potentially to a new game, and a little bit of me wanted to, you know, actually get you up to speed with what was actually happening in the game, rather than people going, I don't know what any of this is. So a lot of it was me kind of explaining what things were, but at the same time, I don't know, maybe it's just a feature of the game that it doesn't work well for this format, I don't know. However, I would like you to go watch that and then give me your feedback on it and whether it works well or not. If it works well, I probably won't retire Spiral Spiel. I would like to, you know, do both if at all possible, actually, to be fair. But we shall see how that goes, and like I say, go watch and give me your feedback. I've said time and time again, I do think people watch Spiral Spiel for the Spiral Knights, not necessarily for the commentary. And then every time I say that, there's a bunch of people pop up in the comments say, no, it's not the Spiral Knights. It's not the Spiral Knights at all. Spiral Knights is entirely superfluous. And I'm like, so why does everybody watch it so much more than anything else? This is almost kind of a little bit of a social experiment. As if you like the format, would you watch it with any other game? If you honestly like the format, the game shouldn't matter. So there's an element of that in there, I'll be honest. I'm seeing people's reactions to this format in a different game that's not Spiral Knights. And the fact that it's got less than half of the views that a Spiral Spiel would typically get suggests that I think the game makes a little bit of a difference. I think a few of you may just be watching for the Spiral Knights content, you know? You know, yeah. So that's the thing. So go watch that. Give me your feedback. That's what I want you to do. I think I had something else. No. Gonna update soon? Maybe. I just need to say that. I've been saying that for months. I needed to say that again. So did something spawn down there? I saw something flash. I saw. Oh, I don't know what that was. I saw a purple thing go poof down here somewhere. I thought. I could have been mistaken. Maybe I'm seeing things and going crazy. Actually, that seems very likely, actually. Me going crazy is a totally reasonable suggestion. So yeah, let's do some user-submitted questions. Also, oh yeah, bear in mind that because I used the Spiral Spiel questions, if you've asked a question of a non-Spiral Knights-based nature within the last few weeks or so on a Spiral Spiel, they may have been answered in Wildstar Waffle, so that's also an incentive for you to go and watch that, because I may have answered one of your questions that you were expecting to be answered in a Spiel, and it was not in a Spiel. It was elsewhere. Haha, it's deceiving you. I caught you off guard by answering your questions elsewhere. I don't know why that's a good thing. But there you go, yeah, if you asked... I've tried not to... well, I didn't answer any Spiral Knights-based stuff, just on the basis that it kind of wasn't really appropriate to the game. But if you asked about anything else, I would have... there's a very good chance I answered it there and then. But anyway, yes, user-submitted questions. This is the thing we do. If you're new to the channel, I will take questions from the comments each week, or indeed in-game, or wherever you decide to get in touch with me, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. So if you want me to give you a minor shout-out or what have you, and answer some questions, and you can provide me with some content for the show, then that's the thing you can do. Go comment in the comments. That's the place you would put comments. It stands to reason, you know? So yeah, you can do that, and then I will answer your questions. And it's all cool, and everybody wins. It's all fun. So let's do some questions. I have let's do something from the Skyside's massive shopping list of questions, which is: many religious groups over the years have been offended by Pokémon supposedly teaching their children evolution. Would you consider this to be a metamorphosis of an immature creature becoming an adult one, such as caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly, or are you on the same boat as the parents? Explain your reasoning for this stance. It's absolutely a metamorphosis. It's totally not evolution. It's not remotely evolution. That's a silly thing to say. How could you possibly make the claim that it was evolution? I mean, as you make the point, there are several evolution lines within Pokemon, which are, as you say, it's Caterpillar. You've got Caterpie and Weedle, certainly in Gen 1. God knows whether they've rehashed that in later gens, I don't know. But those had that exact evolution line. It was Caterpillar, Chrysalis, Butterfly. That's not an evolution. Caterpillars don't evolve into butterflies. That's not how that works. Evolution does not work that way. To quote Morbo on that one. Well, paraphrase Morbo on that one. No, that's not how that happens. Metamorphosis is a very, very slow, gradual process over many generations of things. Over many eons, hundreds of thousands, millions of years. A long, long period of time. The way evolution works is minor variances in the gene pool over long periods of time. I'm going to need a Shadow Blade for this, I think, aren't I? There's going to be jellies in here. Where is... No. Sword. Ashron. There we go. Right, now we are equipped. I think there's jellies in here. Either way, we'll find out soon enough. Jellies? Yes, jellies. So yeah, evolution is like, you know, it's random as well. It's not even this tightly focused thing. Evolution is, you know, when a creature has a baby, when a mummy creature and a daddy creature love each other very much, they make a baby creature, and the baby creature might sometimes, through genetic diversity, be slightly different to the parents. It might not be an exact genetic, well, it's not going to be an exact genetic duplicate, but you know what I mean. You know, in some cases, I suppose it is, depending on how that particular creature reproduces, but in most cases it will take the genetics of the mommy creature and the daddy creature, and they will make a new creature that's sort of a hybrid of both of them. It takes elements of both and makes a new thing. And sometimes it is slightly different to both of them. There'll be something different. It might be faster, it might be stronger, it might have bigger teeth than its parents, and that will give it an extra competitive edge in the wild. It might be more defensive, it might be faster. I mean, stuff like, I guess, gazelles are a good example. They run really fast to escape prey, and if a baby one is any faster than its parents, it will outrun, ouch, that was silly, it will outrun its prey faster, and it will have a better chance of surviving to produce its own offspring, and that genetic trait will get passed on, and a few hundred or thousand years later, however many years down the line, that genetic trait, if it has managed to propagate, may produce another offspring which is slightly faster again, and that will be even more successful, and so on and so forth, and the survival of the fittest, as it were. And then if you get one that's like short-sighted by evolution, because that happens as well, you get negative ones as well, they would then have a worse chance of survival. They're just going to get eaten straight away, and it doesn't survive, and it doesn't pass on its genes, and ta-da, evolution for you, right there. That's how that works. This is going to be a tedious fight. Come on, burn! And this is all random, and sometimes you get positive traits that just disappear anyway. I mean, just because you're slightly faster doesn't mean that you're necessarily faster than the thing trying to eat you, or smarter than the thing trying to eat you, and just because you're a bit faster might mean you still get outwitted and eaten anyway. And there are a lot of positive mutations in the gene pool that still end up being evolutionary dead ends, just because, you know, random chance, nature and stuff. I think there's... I'm not sure where the statistic comes from, but I have heard somewhere cited that like only 1% of beneficial mutations actually survive to pass on anyway. Or it might have just been sort of like hypothesizing. It's like, oh, even if only 1% survive long enough, it's kind of, that's enough to create evolution anyway. The vast majority probably won't help them out in life, but 1%, possibly even less, or positive mutations in the gene pool will survive a generation or two to pass on their traits, and you know, and that will become part of that creature. It will become more successful than the rest of its peers, and ultimately become the new standard for the thing, and or possibly even a new species if it's diverse enough, I suppose. There's a lot of evolutionary things that people are like, well, how did that even happen in the first place? Things like eyes are a major one. I mean, for something to go from having no eyes to having one even weakly working eye, I suppose. I suppose if nothing else has any eyes at the time, that's a major advantage, but, you know, to go from no eye to one eye, or then to two eyes, it's like, that's a massive change. How does that become a thing? So at some point there will be like major changes, and at that point it's almost like a superpower. Is this how superheroes are made? It's just power of evolution. I don't know. Either way, it's not what Pokemon does. I mean, some of them are literally just evolutions. Some of the evolutions are literally just growing up. I mean, look at the baby Pokemon. Look at Pichu evolving into Pikachu. It's just the baby form. It's just growing up. That's not an evolution. That's not evolution in the slightest. And I don't know. Stuff like Charmander always looked like a baby kind of thing. And then it grows up into a big bad dragon. It's just like a baby dragon growing up into a teenager dragon, and then growing up into an adult dragon. Ah, nuts, I don't have any effective way to get through this, do I? Nah. Right, can I... Ow. Nuts. I want rid of the jellies first and foremost. I don't want to do this while I'm fighting jellies. Right, okay. I'll just stand here and leave a gap. Okay? Okay. You explode. Oh, that worked quite nicely. Right. How I do? I want that. I want to throw that. I don't want to break that. Break that. Run through here. Oh god, that's the first time I've ever done that particularly well. That's really nice. Sweet! So yeah, Spore was closer to a game actually depicting evolution than Pokemon. Pokemon just isn't remotely. It's just a term they use within the game. It's not in any way comparable to the real thing. Spore kind of was, because at least that involved creatures. It involved creatures changing between generations. If you wanted to update your creature and add new, bigger spikes onto it or whatever, you had to go and make a baby. And that baby would then be the one that had the bigger spikes. For whatever reason, it would then update the entire race or species, I suppose. It would update your entire species to have all the bigger spikes or whatever. It's like, well, that's not how evolution works either. Only that one thing gets the trait. It's not like the entire species gets the bigger spikes when you make a baby creature. But some concessions have to be made. It's video games, right? So that's what they did at any rate. And it's not the best representation, especially as when you consider that with each generation you could completely and dramatically overhaul the entire creature. You could, every single generation of the creature, you could redesign the thing from scratch. You can change its skeletal structure, its entire shape, and its number of limbs, eyes, all the various features that it had. You could completely restructure that from scratch, and well, evolution wouldn't work that way either. That's not right either. But again, it's game design. Some concessions have to be made. It's, if you were to actually accurately depict evolution in video games, well, most of the time you just get eaten, and you wouldn't have any power to control what you did, because it would be almost entirely random chance. If you got any good powers or bad powers, it would be completely random. Tell you what's actually, weirdly enough, what is actually probably more accurate in terms of depicting it, maybe Rogue Legacy is perhaps better, because that just gives you random, either beneficial or detrimental traits each generation. Again, I don't think they're particularly in any way tied to the parents, if I recall correctly. I think it is just random. I don't think it's like, oh, your parents were short-sighted, so you'll be short-sighted. Your parent was bald, so you're going to go bald. I don't know if that's a thing in the game, but, you know, it's that kind of, you inherit traits from your parents. I don't know if that's in there, but certainly, like, the random elements of things that will help you survive or be a liability in life, those were pretty much random, I do believe, and that's more accurate to the idea of evolution than any of the other ideas. So, that's kind of a weird one to look at, but it kind of makes a certain degree of sense. Sure, if you want to all explode the bombs on yourselves, I'm okay with that, you guys. You guys go do that. So evolution for you there, folks. A bit of a science lesson, as well as a rant. All good, all good. Cal says, when I came back after 3 years, I was totally new to the crystals and orbs and stuff, and still kind of one thing I'm having problems with is Radiance. Where do you get Radiance from? Nobody gets Radiance. You're not allowed Radiance. Radiance aren't allowed anymore. They have been phased out, and they're not in the game anymore. That's not true, but they might as well be true. The only way to get a lot of them, particularly, is, well, aside from the supply depot, which is overpriced, is Shadow Lairs. So, if you can do Shadow Lairs, you can get a reasonable supply of Radiance for a sizable price. I should probably be taking a pill right about now. Yeah, there we go. Other than that, Vanaduke. Vanaduke is your main source. You might get a few out of like high-level missions like the Gauntlet, but Vanaduke, I think on average you'd get about 12 Radiance a run. It used to be less than that when they changed it recently to up the drop rate. You can get a few more now. It used to be you'd be like get 3, maybe 6 if you were lucky out of Vanaduke. Now you can get 12, maybe 15. Previously, when the Radiance disappeared, as it were, the Radiance were only available pretty much on floor 27? I forget how deep the clockworks go. What's the last floor? Oh, we're on a Vanaduke run as well. Okay, so Firestorm's 25, 26, 27, 28. Okay, 27, 28. I think it would have been 28, I guess. Would probably have been where you got all the Radiance. Now you can get it on any floor from level 25 and below. God damn it! 25 and below will have Radiance, although at level 25 they're still pretty rare, but you can get them there. I think I've heard reports of 24 maybe, but I was like, that's so super rare, it's not even worth relying on. So you could do some Clockworks runs and go down into the depths and find some that way. It's probably not going to be the most reliable way of doing it, but you could do that. If you could find some that had some good arenas on floor 25 and deeper, that would probably be a good run as well. If you could get a whole bunch of arenas between floor 25 and 28, you might well see a bunch of Radiance out of that. So keep an eye out for those when the gates change. They would probably be quite a lucrative way to do that. Other than that, yeah, Vanaduke will get you about 12 a run. You need to get from like level 9 to... lag. To get from level 9 weapon to level 10 weapon, you need like 100, I think, isn't it? So, especially if you want the 100% chance of doing it, and there's really no other reasonable way to do that. You could do it with less, but you're only running the risk of hurting yourself and needing to go grind more Radiance if you just straight up don't go for the 100% chance. So you need about 100 Radiance, thereabout. So that's going to be 8 Vanaduke runs, which is just silly talk. Very, very crazy. Shadow Layers will net you about somewhere around 50, I think. Maybe 50 to 75, I think, is what you like to get there. The Supply Depot will obviously sell you 50... Well, that was not the right direction to swing a sword. It will sell you 50 for 700 energy, so your Shadow Layers are a better way of getting them if you feel capable about your ability to tackle a Shadow Layer on a regular basis. If you're willing to split the cost between a bunch of people, that's going to give you 50 to 75 for 450 energy. So it's going to be a little bit better for you. I'm going to hit that explosive, and I'm going to pop some pills, because otherwise I'm going to die. And we're going to throw down a heart attack, try and squeeze some hearts out of you guys. Ouch. God damn it, I'm really bad at this game. So are we alive yet? There we go. So yeah, those are your best places to get them. I guess they're wanting you to buy them from the Supply Depot, but that's such an extortionate price for that. I mean, you're looking at spending 1,400 just to get a weapon from level 9 to level 10, going down that route, which is just not a practical solution to anything whatsoever. Hello. I thought there was a thing there. I seem to recall someone mentioning that one before, and I totally forgot about it. Yeah, freebies. Sweet, that's okay. I'm glad I can remember things. So thank you to whoever pointed that one out in the comments to me at some point, because that came in useful here. Sweet. I didn't know about that room. So yeah, Radiance. Not great, but what can you do? Not much. Not until Three Rings changes things. They used to be abundant, goddammit. And now they're not. It's a sad, sad state of affairs. We've got a long one from Not Loose Tooth. Not Loose Tooth. Let me just kill this guy so I can begin reading. Do you think an expansion that would be successful would be that when Spiral Knights return to their home planet, everything is destroyed, it's been taken over by some other force of evil? Instead of having Clockworks, they set up a place in the least wild place they can find, furthest away from the hardest enemies so they can be safest. Slowly getting further out, slowly discovering the secrets of the force that's taken over their home planet. Some of the levels could feature like old ruins of town, cities, some levels forests, deserts, etc. There's plenty of flaws. I mean, such a what if you want to do a Vanaduke run and you're not on the same planet? But would that work as a expansion, and would that bring people back? How long do you think it would take to make it? That is actually a pretty good idea. I like that idea, can I say? I really like that idea. I think you could probably quite easily deal with the issue of like instances and stuff with a bit of hand waving. Look, we've got interstellar travel. If we assume that by this point we've harnessed the power of the core, well, let's just say, yes, one of the new technologies that came out of using the core is teleportation. And once we set up a teleportation station between the two planets, we can just travel between the two planets at will. It's not like no big deal. If you want to go do some Clockworks, that's cool. That's fine. Yeah, go do some Clockworks. That's wonderful. That's all great. Because all you got to do is go step on the pad that's powered by the core, and ta-da, you're on the homeworld. The idea of it being taken over by evil is quite good, because obviously we've been driven out of our homeworld by some mysterious forces within the Morai Wars. So there's clearly some big bad out there that wants rid of us. Oh, god damn it, jellies! Get back. So it's not unreasonable to think that our planet has now been colonized by whatever the heck we were fighting in the Morai Wars, which was never particularly elaborated on that I'm aware of. Unless some lore master wants to go, no, obviously the Morai Wars was... This was... No. That was clearly elaborated on in Mission 6, Part 3. The mission you didn't pay any attention to. That could be a thing. I don't know. So, feel free to correct me if the more is known about the Morai Wars than I'm aware. But I'm not aware that we know much beyond it being mentioned at one part in the intro. Let's pop a peel to heal up. There we go. I like that idea a lot, though. How long would it take them to make it? I don't know. If they wanted to recycle Clockwork's assets and just design new levels based around that, maybe not too long. If they wanted to design new assets from scratch, well, how long did it take to make Spiral Knights in the first place? Because it sounds quite a big expansion. I don't know. It wouldn't involve redesigning from scratch. It would just be a lot of new art assets for the most part, I imagine. It would take... I don't know. I reckon it might take a year or so to make something like that. Yeah, maybe 2. I don't know. I'm not in game development, so I really don't have a good handle on the sort of timescale for these things. Do I think it would bring old players back? Yes, it would. Any noteworthy content added to this game would probably bring players back. If they drop the Gunner update, it'll probably bring people back, for crying out loud. They just need some goddamn content in the game, to be honest. But honestly, I like that idea. I do think just adding another planet... I mean, again, look at World of Warcraft. There's just sort of a hand wavy. It's like, look, another planet. Look, here we've added one. Sure, look, there's this big portal you can just step through and get to the other planet. It's like, it's no big deal at all. Just go through the portal. It's fine. So, yeah, with a bit of hand waving, you can get away with a lot in video games. Just sort of go, yeah, look, we've got technology to do that. That's okay. That's no problem. But yes, add more levels, add a lot more levels, call it an expansion, sell it separately for Christ's sake. Every other MMO sells it separately. I mean, Operation Crimson Hammer, is that an expansion? Or is that just DLC? It's not really big enough to be considered an expansion, but yeah, you could quite comfortably get away with selling that as well as content. You're like, look, we've added a vast swathe of content easily comparable to much of what's already in the game to begin with, and it costs you $10 to access it. People would pay that. People would quite happily pay that. You know they would. That's how expansions work. I suppose a lot of free-to-plays do drop free expansions as well, so I don't know. But I do think if you wanted to draw a bit of revenue, that could probably quite comfortably be sold as well. It does then end up locking players out of content that they don't... it ends up separating players, which is probably not a good move, but... I don't know. Operation Crimson Hammer's already done that, so again, you've got precedent there. I don't know the best way to... Oh, nuts! There's a pill. Backwards, please. I want to go backwards. Give me the pill. So this is a compound, and it's going to be nasty, so I want all the health I can get. A chap with a slightly dubious name by Redder's Funhole. Asks, what are your opinions on the new Minecraft EULA? Do you agree with the... Ouch, wasn't watching where I was walking. Do you agree with the changes they made, or do you think they should give server owners more rights with some guidelines like only charge for custom items that they've made? Ooh, lord. That's a lot of things. The new Minecraft EULA, yeah, if you're not familiar with it, is basically... a lot of Minecraft servers, especially your big ones, the ones that have been set up to cater to thousands of people at once, were monetized in a really, really bad way. It was basically turning a large part of Minecraft into a free-to-play game with lots of really obnoxious, predatory microtransaction stuff. It was very similar to your kind of free-to-play mobile market, as far as there's just a lot of nasty stuff that's very anti-consumer, and basically Mojang didn't like the way their game was headed by no fault of their own. They're working on adding all this great new content, and people who are running the servers, people who are making thousands and thousands of dollars on a monthly basis out of running servers by doing this, we're just like, oh yeah, we need all this money to keep the servers open. Yeah, absolutely. While they're pocketing thousands just by selling stuff. I mean, I suppose at the most benign level, we're talking about multiplayer games where classes were unlockable through in-game play and then bypassable by spending money. And then there are others where it's just hard locked. In order to play this game, you're going to have to pay money. There's a whole variety of different techniques. Some were better than others, some were pretty nasty. Ultimately, Ultimately, yeah, it was a bad direction to take the game. It's not the direction Mojang wanted the game to be taken, and so they rewrote the EULA to say, yep, you're not allowed to do this. Basically, all players on your server need to be treated the same, whether they pay money or not. You're now allowed to pay for cosmetics, and you're allowed to charge for access to your server as long as all players have to pay for access to your server. You're not allowed to treat one player different to another player just because they paid you money. That is the new Mojang EULA, and I like that because I've had a look. I've tried some of these servers before, the multiplayer ones, and it's always obnoxious. You're always being pressed to pay money right off the bat. It's like, oh, here's all the things. Here's the things you can't do. If you want to do them, you're gonna have to pay us some money. It's only $10, and it's like, I already bought the goddamn game. No, I'm not paying you money. Go away. That's the thing. If I paid for the game, I should not be pressured for microtransactions like that. And I realize that the person profiting off this isn't Mojang, it's the server owner who needs the money to keep it open, but honestly, if you need to pressure people into paying money like that, well, then your business model is flawed, especially when your business model is based on exploiting a loophole in the original EULA that... It wasn't even a loophole. I think you were always not particularly allowed to do that. It's just that Mojang never particularly enforced it. It was just they're making a move towards enforcing this now. And I've never liked those servers. I've never liked that attitude of monetization. I think it's very anti-consumer. I think it's hurtful to the game. And it's just generally an unpleasant experience. I don't like that, and I'm totally in favor of the new EULA. And I think it was Nathan Adams Dinnerbone, the guy who does the vast majority of the development work on Minecraft, did state that, what was it, Jeb? I don't know. One of the noteworthy folks at Mojang did state that, look, if you're that dedicated to running your server and you've been innovative enough to find ways to make a living out of hosting a Minecraft server, if you've gotten to the stage in the first place where you can make your living just from running a Minecraft server, you are innovative enough to be able to find a way to make a living out of running the Minecraft server now. If you're not, well then perhaps your business doesn't deserve to exist. Not all business strategies are considered equal. You can't just say, oh, but I've been making money like this for a while. I know it's illegal, but I've been making it for a while. You can't stop me making money. Yes, they can, and they did, and I don't think it's a good thing for the game. If you want to continue succeeding, adapt. Adapt or go back to a desk job somewhere in an office. It's as simple as that. You can't just expect Mojang to just allow you to keep making a living off of their backs just because you feel entitled to be able to do so. That's not a good reason for that. A lot of that is just entitlement. It's like, oh, we've been making money off your backs for ages. We should be allowed to continue because you haven't said no before. Yeah, but they've always had the right to. You paid for the game. When you paid for the game, you ticked a little box that said, I agree to the terms and conditions. And terms and conditions did not say, you're allowed to make a living out of Minecraft. Or, I suppose YouTube's a weird one in that regard, but you're not allowed to make a living out of running Minecraft servers and stuff. Yeah, so that's... You were never allowed to do that. And you're not allowed to do it now. It's not cool, guys. Not cool. As you say, with the custom content that they made themselves, again, that's still covered in the EULA. It says, we don't care if you make mods, you're still not allowed to make money out of mods. You can ask for donations for your mods. You can say, oh, if you appreciate the work I've put into making this, please leave a donation, but you're not allowed to explicitly charge for the mod. You're not allowed to charge for any of the content added. I know there's plugins that'll just like, oh, change the skin of an item and the functionality of an item slightly. That doesn't really count as your item. It's still Minecraft content. Under the terms and conditions of Minecraft, Mojang still own all of that. You don't own it just because it's your server. It's all Mojang's property. Those are the terms and conditions. You don't like it, go play a different game or find a different business. You don't get to make the rules of someone else's stuff like that. Oh, so many scarabs, so little time. So yeah, Minecraft. That was a contentious one. That was a little while back now, but I guess it's only recently come into effect. I think that's the EULA change discussion took place a few months back. Like, I don't know, May, June time, I think, but it didn't really come into play until August. It is interesting because I do know the Minecraft guys have got their Play Minecraft server, which used to be that strategy as well, and I'd expected better from those guys. They they always had a sort of big multiplayer server and some moderately famous names on YouTube running it and stuff, and I know Fixer, one of the guys on our Strangelands server. Where am I supposed to go with this? I feel like, oh, I haven't pressed that button yet, duh. So yeah, okay. So yeah, I know Fixer wanted to go onto that server, and they've got some building contest thing. It's like, oh, we'll show off the best ones, and we could use it to promote our own stuff. And it's like, yeah, but they still want you to pay money to be able to actually do anything. It was still like a $9 a month subscription. It's like, no, not a cool business model. Not appreciated, not approved of. Don't particularly like that. But again, that's a gain against the EULA, so I'd be interested to see whether the Play Mindcrack server has had to change to adapt to the fact that, well, that they had to change to adapt as of August. I have not been on that server probably since July, so interesting to see what changes have taken place. If they're still making money under the old model, that is literally against the rules. And Mojang absolutely do have the power to send a cease and desist and shut them down and sue them and whatnot for breach of terms and conditions. I don't know. I don't know what the actual methodologies and strategies are. I don't know what they actually do to stop someone doing that. God damn it! Stop flying into me, you little buggers! Right, I've got one key, and freedom is almost there. So yeah, there are a lot of major servers that are doing this sort of thing. I feel like I want to go and troll a bunch of them now just to go see who's still doing this, and a little bit of me wants to grass them up as well. It's like, hey, these guys are still making money out of making your game into a free-to-play game, and it really sucks. I want to be treated the same as everyone else on the server. I've already paid for your game, why should I have to pay for it again? I mean, the reason all that came about was, to be fair, as with a lot of microtransaction stuff, it was preying on mostly kids spending their parents' money, to be honest. Mojang were getting a lot of support reports saying, oh, my child has been banned from playing on this server and he's spent like $100 on it. Can you do something about it? And Mojang were like, no, that's a transaction between the server owner and yourself. That's not us. We haven't taken any money for that. And yet Mojang were getting all these support from angry parents saying, my child spent, because if you think about the way it's going to be pitched, your kid, some 8-year-old kid or whatever is going to go to his parents and say, hey mom, can I have $10 to spend on Minecraft? Not to spend on this Minecraft server for some perks, can I spend it on Minecraft? And then the parent's like, why is he spending so much money on Minecraft? I'll get in touch with the people who make Minecraft. And you can see where that trouble happens. Yeah. So then you've got all their support team going, no, that's not us. He didn't spend that money on Minecraft. He bought Minecraft once, probably a couple years back. We ain't taken any money off him since. He's been giving that money to just random guys on the internet. Congratulations, discipline your child. At any rate, ooh, good lord, I've been running long on this one. I didn't realise how long I'd been going. That one, I don't know what held me up. That was quite a slow video. Anyway, yes, let's wrap that up there. Thank you very much for watching. I have been Meroka. This has been Spiel. Do not forget to leave a question below. Also to check out my Patreon campaign, which will be linked in the outro in just uno momento, which will allow you to potentially support me if you so wish to do so, because that would really help, given that I have no income right now. So any money you could send my way would be really appreciated. And also, there'll be a link in the description below to the Bottom Mash podcast, which is now a thing, goes up live on every 3 PM GMT on a Tuesday on our alternate channel, which, as I say, is linked in the description below. So again, thank you very much for watching. You have all been wonderful people. I've been Meroka, and I'll see you next time. Yeah!